Too low?
Oh, you're fine. It's like MTV Cribs.
I know, right?
What are you saying?
So
It is packed in copper. That's good.
it's just packed.
Good.
Like I don't see.
Good. Then she's got to have something right there. So the water's on.
Yeah, the water's on.
Okay.
Like,
Put it on here. Let's plug it in, and then let's run it. And let's see if there's any water shooting right through where that ceiling is. Is that a shark bait connection right there?
She's had to.
Oh yeah, the extension cord. There we go. Are you in?
Yep.
Let's see what happens. Good thing is she doesn't have mold.
No, there was a teeny bit.
A little bit, I can tell.
But
I'll
not-
put some herbicide spray we have on there.
What I'd love to see is it just
Yeah.
shooting out.
And be done. But you know what it is? It's so hot out. I bet you there's swelling. Cause it looks like it's not been dripping recently. It looks pretty
That's why it's
dry.
dry. Because usually, if it's a
wet. It would be moist.
yeah, if it's recent, it'd be really damp.
Yep.
So what's the issue, guys? What's going on?
So the customer has a leak. The wall is stained where water's been dripping. It also took out the electrical GFI outlet that the washer plugs into, and we're trying to pinpoint exactly where the leak is right now so we can fix the situation.
Okay.
Sometimes it's as easy as turning the fixture on or whatever the water line is hooked up to, and it'll just squirt out. And then other times you've got to pinpoint exactly where it's coming from. It could be coming from upstairs to where it's running down
A little drip.
a line, you know, and running off of that line, and gravity's pulling it down to wherever it ends up.
Just a typical Wednesday.
It's a Monday.
Feels like a Monday.
Yeah. That's weird. Is that your master running up there? Above here? Yeah, is that so that's your tub up there? Is your tub face this way? Yeah, it's not your washer dryer. That's the goodness. So we're not gonna have to fix that line. The bad news is that this hasn't leaked in a while because you don't have anything moist in the wall that's recent. Because this has been dry for a while, you can tell. I can show you the stud and everything too. But we just gotta figure out, it was like what he said, is there a pinpoint link up there that it's basically hitting if you want to look in here, you'll see the plastic. Yours have like these little fittings that go, those plastic fittings, and that's where we were hoping that once we open that up that water would just kind of be spurting out. But I'll move out of the way. Come stand right where I'm at, and then right here.
Yeah.
See the wood? See how it looks? You can touch it. It's not fine. It's bone dry.
Okay.
But you can tell where it's been wet.
Yeah.
Which tells us that there was something either pinpoint upstairs leaking and coming down, and basically it'll ride like the stud, or it will ride one of those plastic lines. And you know, it's small. This is thankfully very small, but what is concerning me is you're running everything upstairs. 100% it's coming from upstairs. And it's coming down the stud. Well, it's good that she can use this. We gotta figure out what it's doing though. Where it's coming from. I wonder what does he mean by if that's calcifying and blowing, where would those lines run? From the water heater into the house?
Straight out the back into this wall.
Into this wall?
Yeah, but and
Would
that's
that'd go over here. That has
Right.
nothing to do.
and then it tees off from here back there and goes.
Hey Tiffany,
Yes.
do you have a third story like I do?
I don't. I'll have two. But
Okay.
I do have that attic.
Yeah.
That is for like where the heat.
You have the AC and everything in there.
Oh.
Have you ever had your pan? Have you ever noticed the pan itself? That black little pan where that whole AC system sits in?
Well, I have my AC outside.
No, that's your condenser outside.
Okay.
Your unit is upstairs.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever changed that filter?
Probably not.
Oh my god. Wait till you see what that looks like.
It's all
It's really
calcified.
hot up there.
You have calcified run on the stud
Okay.
all the way up. Something is leaking from upstairs.
Okay.
What it is, I don't know, because you have everything running and it's not leaking at the moment. The good news is you're safe to run your washer dryer.
Okay.
So you don't need to worry about that. We'll get that patched open. I'll clean this up right now. Right at the bottom of the sink line, she's got a stain like that big that's just going like this, and then there's a notch open. And I can see the pipe and I can see the stud right there. And that's, where it was coming down from.
So it ran down, soaked the GFI, glued
Yep.
the GFI.
And it was colder, so what was happening was it was just dripping until all the water evaporated.
Huh.
That's why she's not, because we just ran everything up there and that would have been dripping. 100% that would have been.
Yeah.
So, what I'll do is, get in the habit every day, if you can, turn on the water like for 5 minutes a day. Let's
Okay.
just keep this open until we come back to fix it when it works for your schedule. And then you'll see if water's hitting there. If it
Okay.
is, just call me immediately, turn the water off.
And then.
Not there, but obviously up there.
Yeah.
And then we'll see if there's anything, because the problem is right now it's so warm. Pipes swell, the walls swell, everything's gonna swell and it's gonna cause its own sort of a seal. What I want to do is I want that water lubricating the lines. I want everything running so this way that if it's gonna leak, it's gonna leak. And then we know that's the problem. It's the guest bathroom, 100%. Time is not our friend.
It's never our friend.
Today, we're gonna go to Starbucks and get a lot of liquid encouragement because we need a lot of that. We're gonna take my Shih Tzu, Sushi, to the groomers. Hard day. Then we're gonna go to the office. We're gonna go get Margot. We're gonna finish grabbing the last few items we need for the rest of these builds. And then pretty much today is gonna be a behind the scenes of like what we do, because a lot of people think like, oh, he's the owner and he must not do a lot. Well, they're gonna see pretty quickly that I do pretty much everything. So I'll do stuff like what you saw this morning for my neighbor, because they know that I've been a contractor for 15 years. Doing the house calls. Beauty of it, because we build homes and we built homes for 15 years. It's nice because people realize I don't just have to do a tiny home. So we're going to do that. We're going to talk to Truman today, go over Jennifer Goodman's, because we're pulling permits on her ADU, which is, an auxiliary dwelling unit. So we're going to be building that over there in Northwest Portland. And then somewhere try to find time to eat. I have a doctor appointment tonight, so I got to figure out that. But yeah,
Long day.
long day.
Every day.
Every day, all day, any day. That's what we do at Tiny Heirloom. Can I get 2 iced tall soy chais with 2 pumps of vanilla in each of them?
You said 2 of those.
Yep.
Anything else?
And then 2 tall vanilla bean fraps.
And whipped cream on top of those?
Yep.
Awesome. Anything else?
You want anything?
No, I'm good. Sure. Yeah.
I'll do an order of the egg white bites.
Egg white bites.
You want to see I'm
breakfast.
ready to try anything? Breakfast or anything? Food?
Anything else?
I'll do a water. Venti water.
And then venti water with ice.
Venti ice water. Gotcha.
Yep.
Anything else today?
No, that's it.
All right. We will see you here for 22:25. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I actually ate this morning because when I get around you,
Yeah.
food seems to not happen.
So
So,
let's show the viewers what my life is like.
so
This is no joke. It started with one, and this is the cool phone. And then I decided to get work phones so that this phone becomes personal. But this phone somehow didn't become personal. And then now I've got the work phone. the work phone, the third work phone. It never ends. About the only phone that I have a little bit of privacy on is the OnStar. And nobody answers it because if you don't have someone pre-programmed in your phone, no one recognizes your phone number and then hits decline. So it does no good anyway.
Yeah, I learned from our house delivery to make sure I get something in my system. So I
Lots
coffee
of
this morning.
snacks.
Yep.
Eat
Yep.
when you're not around me.
Yep.
Because it's like crack. We will start and we won't stop.
Yep.
It just goes. It's all day. And it's just because, you gotta be in every bit of every direction. And unfortunately with what we do, it's not just as simple as I could sit in an office and sit behind a desk all day and then just bark orders. You have to be involved with the process. It's so important because people don't understand all the pre-planning that gets involved in this stuff, and ultimately, it's our reputation, and I want to make sure that every single thing is done right. I want to make sure that we go above and beyond. It's like Ginny with the Blooming Moon. We're going to be documenting her whole build. I met her in January before COVID hit, really, and she decided that she wanted to do the tiny home. That's how the relationship started. Well, come March hits, she's in the spa business. She got shut down.
Right.
And everything got put on hold. And so it was one of those things that she didn't know if she was going to lose her business. She didn't know what was going to happen. None of us did. And I just told her, I said, look, let's work together. So she actually relied on her bank at US Bank to do her EIDL and her PPP. And the banker dropped the ball and didn't help her. And so she didn't know what to do. So I actually aided her and helped her just as a friend. It had nothing to do with the monetary aspect of it. I looked at it as business to business. We got to survive and help each other. And in small business, it's really important. And so I just helped her and her husband, Jeremy, which is, I think that's why I helped him, because he has probably the coolest name in the world, And at the end of the day, that's how it started. And we got through it. And then through like April, May, and June, when she was still shut down, because she didn't get her doors open until July 15th, I think, or 5th.
Do you guys need a tray?
Yeah, please.
Perfect.
And if there's any rewards, go ahead and use them.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let me see what you got. You got 25 stars.
Okay,
I mean, you had 80 something, but
no problem.
use a couple more. There we go. Okay. So only 20, 25.
Do I owe you any money? Do I owe you any difference?
Oh, 420.
All right.
That's pretty cool.
What do I? It's Oregon, 420.
Thank you. Are you okay with 5s and 10s and stuff?
Yeah, that's fine. I need some change anyway.
Okay, perfect.
Until
Sorry,
then-
what were those two acronyms for the viewers? You said EDP and PPP?
Oh, no, the EDIL and the PPP. So when the government did the stimulus packages for
Okay.
the small businesses, I helped her with that stuff because she didn't know what to do. And she was relying on her bank. And all of us learned the hard way when round 1 of PPP came out, which was the Paycheck Protection Plan. All of the banks were funding huge companies. And we found out later it's because the truth is the banks were getting 5% of the funding amount given to them by the government. So of course, why aren't they going to do a 10, 15, 20 million dollar loan versus doing a little 50 or 100 or 150,000? What they don't understand is that 150 grand is like its weight in gold to someone like her and to us, because we are spending that money in payroll and we're not getting the money back in services or in revenue because of all of the new laws, all of the new regulations. So it was critical. If she did not get that, I honestly will say she probably would have had to have sold the business. It was definitely a lifesaver. She told me she had to spend her entire life savings to get, thank you, to get everything.
There we go.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
She told me that she had to spend her entire life savings that they had saved up between all of this costs, the closing costs, the reopening costs, and whatnot, And, you know, it was touch and go. But we got through the PPP, long of it short, and we were able to get our own PPP, thank God. And, you know, both of us survived. And then I told her, I said, look, you know, anything you need, no matter how small, how big, just let me know. And so she started realizing, like, okay, well, you know, I need to do these little things, like more handyman stuff. And then it turned in that we remodeled her entire bathroom at the spa and fixed the steam shower, redid the tile, pretty much just redid the entire interior bathroom, which we'll take some shots of, and I'll show you that too, you know, next couple of days. And then, I don't know, it was about a month after that was in May and June. In July, we did some stuff for her personal house. We did some additional stuff at the spa. We did a bunch of electrical upgrades and work. Brought in a 400 amp service at her spa, and then got everything pretty much ready to go. And then she got opened, and she said, hey, let me see how this next real month goes, and let me make sure that, you know, clients are going to come back and we're going to get the business, you know, back up and running. And I said, absolutely, no pressure. And then she called me, and then on Friday we inked the contract, and you know, now we're going to build this. So I'm excited, and we'll give her a bunch of love. You know, we'll put her on social media and tell people, you know, because I want her to be successful. I think that if businesses, and small businesses especially, can think outside the box and do stuff where they take what we build, like our mobile marketing, and learn how to integrate that with their business, they could do so much more than being stuck in a brick and mortar. And for those that don't know, brick and mortar is basically just, you know, your strip mall locations, your mall locations. She's a standalone commercial spa, so she has an old Foursquare, they call them PDX Foursquares, which was originally a residential home in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. And she remodeled it years ago, and then she got it converted to commercial, and then she turned it into a day spa. So it's got a lot of charm, it's pretty, and it's nice. But not a lot of people are fortunate like she is, where she bought it at the right time. She got it with great equity. She's okay. She'll be fine if she ever had to sell it. And a lot of people are in leases, and they go on brick and mortar, and then they're paying these really ridiculous payments, you know, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month, depending on where they're at, you know, for brick and mortar. And when you have an economical crisis like we are right now, just like 2008 to 2012, you can't pay the rent. You can't even afford to, you know, eat top ramen, let alone pay for all the bills. So what I want to do is I want to express to people, and that's why I think we've done so well doing past projects like the Doers Build, like California Closets, and those are big name companies. We've done stuff for mom and pops. We had a company come to Tiny Heirloom a couple of years ago on the TV show for Tiny Luxury, and they did Kentucky barbecue, and they did basically a eatery on one side, and then they lived, I kid you not, on the other side of this tiny home, and they are traveling all across the country. Well, now they become almost a Facebook sensation, and they've been documenting their whole process of what they're doing. And I think that that's cool as hell, isn't it? And if we can provide that, and we can give them the avenues to do that, that's great. We got clients like Lisa and Kevin Murray over in Southern Oregon, that they are one of the original Human Bean coffee shops. We're going to be doing the first ever Human Bean traveling coffee shop. So we're going to take it. It's going to go down there. It's going to stay down there primarily at the coast. It's going to be awesome. But they're going to be able to go in anytime. Let's say the climate gets to the point where economically they can't stay there and they've got to move. They can hitch that thing right on their truck and move it to the next place, and so forth. And so that's where I say doing the experiential marketing and being in a position to where you can take your business anywhere. It's kind of being virtual, or being on like Zoom, things like that. And you can literally take that business and move it and make revenue off of it. That's what I love doing. with the commercial customers. So it'll be nice. So stay tuned for all that, because it's gonna be a good summer. It's gonna be a good early fall, and then when winter hits, thanks, buddy, for not using your turn signal. When winter hits, it's actually, believe it or not, our best time. We are the busiest during the winter time. I think the biggest thing is that customers need to know what we really do, and I hope that out of all of this, and you guys seeing the live reality of what our lives are, that you guys will be able to appreciate what we do, and in return that you see the value of what we do, and that's ultimately what dictates price. Yes, we're dealing with a catastrophic issue with COVID. Guys, we're losing money right now trying to help people, because the reality of it is I would have to raise my prices every day to keep up with all of the struggles and heartache. You don't realize when you're ordering from Amazon, Home Depot, Lowe's, Build, anywhere, vendors, wholesalers, suppliers, it doesn't matter. Everybody is affected by this right now, and so everybody is delayed. And every day that there's a delay, that delay comes with a price, and I don't pass that on to my customers. I try to make the best of it. I try to be fair, but I will never sacrifice on quality. I will never sacrifice on the overall fit and finish. I will make sure at the end of the day, the customer gets 100% of what they pay for. And if we make a mistake, we own it. I'm not going to sit there and fight with somebody. I'm not going to sit there and say no. I'm going to help you. Even if you make the mistake and it's clearly a issue of negligence or you did not perform your maintenances, this is what the series is going to be about, is so that we can tell you guys what to do, how to do it. And I'm not going to charge you a ridiculous amount of money. So if we have to reside a whole house because the house wasn't properly treated and you guys didn't go back in and re-sand it down and then re-clear it or stain it or whatever it is, yes, there's a cost to doing business. There's a cost to owning an RV, a home, a car, anything. There's maintenance behind it. If you don't do it, it's just like a car. You don't change your oil, what's going to happen? Your engine's going to end up going out. Your transmission's going to go out. You're going to have problems long term. There's no different with a tiny home, especially that we all know most people who buy tiny homes use them for one of two functions. Either it's like an in-law quarters or a renting type of a unit, or it's going to be your unit you're living in like a home. So at the end of the day, we give you an FAQs manual. We go over what you need to do. But this is where the value of Tiny Heirloom comes in. And what we do is I changed everything about what the original Tiny Heirloom and me as the owner of Tiny Innovations were doing wrong. And that was very important for me because my partner and I, Ryan, decided we have got to get out of doing everything because that's what the next person does. And we wanted to make sure that no matter what we do, we put the right products and the right type of stuff in a tiny home. And that is where I think we have perfected 110-fold. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, even a year ago, we were making mistakes. We were still using products that should not have been put in these homes. And I know that. One of them being cedar. Everyone loves cedar. It's a beautiful look. You can have accent pieces. The problem is people don't realize that tiny homes don't come with what's called soffits, and they don't have overhangs and eaves. Soffits are underneath your roof line, and when your house has a roof that overhangs past the standard body of your home, you're in a situation to where you are able to have soffits that have little cutouts. Those cutouts are vented and it allows your attic and your roof line to breathe. That helps tremendously with everything from expansion and contraction, mold, moisture, mildew, all that stuff. In a tiny home, think of it as a capsule. It's encapsulated. You don't have soffits and you don't have overhang. Your overhang is less than 5 inches, 6 inches at best. Average, sometimes no inches. It's literally flush right to the fascia. And that becomes very bad when you don't close what's called your envelope, your building correctly. I learned from a very good builder, and I have actually looked up to this person for a very long time. His name is Randy Sebastian, and he's with Renaissance Homes. He's over in Portland and in Lake Oswego. He's been building longer than I've been alive. And I gotta tell you, the guy is successful for 2 reasons. The first reason is he builds an amazing home, and he cares. The second reason is he knows everything that he has done wrong and failure in life of building and learned, and he has, in an essence, taught me a lot of those types of things that you don't want to fail on. And so when you're closing an envelope, you've got to make sure that you use the best of the materials. That's why I use zip wall systems. I don't use regular CDX anymore. And I'll show you guys what zip walls are when we're at the shop and what it looks like. We also use rain screen. Rain screen is basically a little 1-inch by about 1 to 2 inch vertical strips that go down your siding. I'll show you what those guys are at a later time. And what that allows is from your main moisture barrier from your plywood wall, in our case it's the zip wall, which is still a plywood, it's just treated differently. And then whatever your siding material is, you have a about 1/8 inch gap of space to where the water, when it comes in and behind the siding and penetrates through, it actually is able to breathe and then go out to the flashing areas. And this is the stuff that I think that we're going to be able to show you guys and explain to you guys about the types of products we use. So looking at the situation, it's about proper product use, it's about doing the right thing, it's about installing the products the right way. And then I think the biggest thing is, and this is the hardest thing for a lot of builders, is controlling your ego and admitting when you know you're wrong and being able to say, okay, I've got to take that one in the shorts. I understand I made a mistake, and learn from it, and then figure out how to get better. And usually better, unfortunately, does mean more cost, and that is making sure that you're using the right products. You guys are going to start learning the type of products that we use, and ultimately those products come at a higher cost, but those products have the longevity behind them, and they're in the proper applications so that you aren't having a warranty issue or problems. And so we're going to show it all. We're going to show every single thing behind the scenes. We're going to show the good, the bad, the ugly. I have nothing to hide at the end of the day. Love me or hate me, I'm going to be truthful about everything, so that ultimately at the end of the day, if you're going to make a decision whether you're going to come to Tiny Heirloom and buy a tiny home, or you're going to go to another tiny home builder, you have the most informed decision-making skills. And I think that ultimately you will appreciate that if you interview your builder, you go to them and ask them these kind of questions, and then that way you know at least, is this the right person that I should be trusting with my usually life savings, my money, and ultimately my health and safety. That is so important, especially if you're going to be living in these units. You will see me give specific product placements. Those are vendors that we use explicitly. Right now, I can tell you guys with a shadow of a doubt, I don't get paid by any of these vendors. I have used these vendors well before any of this all happened, and I've used them because they have a great product, they provide great service in what they do, and ultimately I'm not bound to them, but I use them religiously because those products make our lives easier when it comes to the warranty aspect and doing the right thing and building, and it puts out a phenomenal end result and a finished result for you as the client. So again, it's going to be important that you guys understand the whole process. Make it as easy as I could for you. This is cut a hair over 48 inches. It's about 50 to 52 inches. I'll let you cut it right down the center nicely. Shelf 1, shelf 2 to float, and then we'll cut the back straight as humanly possible, but take off as little as possible so we don't lose any more depth, and that'll take care of the 2 floating shelves, and we'll take out the other ones.
Okay.
A little bit thicker, so at least we won't have that issue of trying to hide all the paint and the scuffs.
Okay.
And then as far as this one goes, this one is almost 30 inches or 32 inches, and those other shelves were 8-inch sections. I know they did a black and a white one that we never took. They've been back there forever, where they had taken and done all 3 colors and made the demo models, so they could probably just go in and trace these. And then yes, I talked to her, just a nice, easy clear on these is fine. She just wants them nice and just, cleared. And we're good, and I'll match the limit. So, and then I let her know we are leaving on, what was it, Wednesday or whatever day I told you. We'll leave in the morning.
9th?
No, that's the one that we gotta deliver that unit.
Okay.
This is just going down to Bend and whatnot. That was on. Ryan has the basket done at his house. It's good. It's ready to go. We're bringing the shelves and the door. Those are the 2 things we're doing, and then reinstalling the door and putting the shelves on. It's gonna be. What's today? The 19th? I gotta figure out how this can stay at month view so I can see. We are out next Wednesday the 26th, and I have it set for Ken, me, Brian, and him. Ken will drive the truck down so he can leave and not have to stay while we do all the filming, and then I can just have him come in and attach the shelvings, units, and the door. Me and Brian can help him as far as like any of the little stuff, lifting, helping to lift. One more time, once they get everything just dialed, but they can't miss this launch. But we'll bring some cleaning supplies, and then I'll cut Ken early. We'll help him just lift the door to mount the one door, take out the bad door. We'll do the, just all that little to do. It's minor. It'll be like 2 hours if that. So I gotta ask her if it's all the same direction, but ideally, because it's a 2-way lane, we probably want one where it's fixed glass, open glass, where it opens to slide, and then on the other side, fixed glass, open glass. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I need to ask her about that, because these are supposed to be off the shelf at like $900 and some a piece. So.
She get the copy.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, that's good.
Margot, you have my driver's license picture, right? Correct?
I do.
All right.
Okay, hang on a second. Hello? Yes.
We're just gonna go in and do a return. You're good, Margo. Yeah, we dropped like, I don't know, almost 6 G's here the other night.
Oh, really?
Just non-stop. Return this.
Never ends, right?
Just gonna go to IKEA, finish getting the cabinets for Rondell, and then take Margot back and drop that stuff off, and then run away. I just gotta do a return on this one guy.
Aw,
Here's the receipt.
anything wrong with it or
No,
anything?
I thought the lever set had something with it, and it didn't. So.
What's the plan tomorrow? Cleaning, right?
Tomorrow we gotta go in the morning with Truman, do the quartz countertop for Fallon. I gotta meet with her at 9 to go to her storage unit, and then after that, go down to the shop, and then we're gonna just reorganize everything. That's a huge part of the problem, is that it's just everything has been just. So I just told him we're gonna start making runs to the shop, store stuff that we know we don't want to get rid of, but we don't need.
So you want to be drinking at 8 tomorrow or no?
Yeah. Yeah. That way we can go over to the boring shop first and meet over there. So. And it's just like that stuff you saw this morning, trying to get. Thank you. Trying to get all the stuff returned, and then the stuff bought, and then trying to do the credit accounts. Plus doing the store and the online and picking out. This is why when I was telling you, like with the video stuff, man, trying to just have the time to review it all, it's so freaking hard to get it all done. Because it's just not practical.
And I see why you don't come to do video yourself.
I don't, because dude, what? You imagine that, balancing 8 phones in a video camera?
It'd be
It's like,
funny.
all right, which one am I gonna break first?
It'd be funny for a video
People
though.
would think that I literally need to go into an insane